What if a book could be a mirror? Not one that shows your face, but one that reflects the soul of an entire age, its politics, its art, its deepest beliefs. Well, today we're going to look into those very mirrors to see the incredible, vibrant world of medieval India.
I know what you're thinking. How can a 700-year-old book be a time machine? It sounds a little like science fiction, doesn't it? But we're talking about historical literature that is so rich, so incredibly detailed, that reading it is the absolute closest we can get to actually traveling back. These texts, they're our portal. All right, so here's our journey. First, we're going to discover a whole new literary universe. Then, we'll dig into the relationship between power and poetry, the pen and the sword. We'll see how two amazing cultures were woven together, what that meant for society, and finally, why these ancient echoes still matter so much to us today.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're starting at the birth of something truly unique in world literature. You see, this wasn't just Persian literature that happened to be written in India. Oh no, it was a completely new creation.
The best way to think about it is like a masterful fusion recipe. You take the sophisticated, established literary traditions of Persia, all its poetic forms and its language, and you blend them with the rich, vibrant culture and the unique feel of India. The result? A flavor that was totally its own. And you have to understand, this wasn't just a flash in the pan. This literary movement unfolded over this massive stretch of history. It first put down roots during the Delhi Sultanate, which lasted over 300 years. But it was during the legendary Mughal period that it really truly blossomed, reaching its absolute peak.
Now, if you really want to understand an era, you have to get a handle on its power structures, right? And these writers, they weren't just poets sitting in some quiet garden. They were often right at the center of the action, documenting the clash of armies and the craft of kings. The pen, in so many ways, followed the sword.
And these books give us such fascinatingly different views on power. You've got the Tabaqat-Masiri, which is almost like an admin chart for the early sultanate. Then there's the Tarikh-i-Firuz Shahi, which gets into the real nitty-gritty of economics and statecraft. But the Baburnama, that one is just remarkable. It's not just a history, it's the personal diary of an emperor, Babur himself. I mean, he writes about his battles, for sure, but he also complains about the Indian heat and describes the local fruits like a botanist. It's that kind of personal human detail that makes history just pop off the page.
But these books were so much more than just court records or war diaries. Their real genius, where they truly shine, is in how they captured this incredible cultural synthesis. This is the story of where two worlds didn't just meet, they actually created something brand new together.
And if you need one person who just embodies this fusion, it's the legend Amir Khusro. The man was a genius who could operate in both traditions effortlessly. He took the elegant structure of Persian poetry and just filled it with the sights, the sounds, and the soul of India. He was, quite literally, a bridge between two civilizations.
You can really see how this fusion worked. From the Persian side, you get the framework, the poetic meters, the official language of the court. But from the Indian side, you get the heart, local stories, unique cultural feelings, and even the development of Hindavi, which was an early form of Hindi Urdu that blended the two.
And a perfect example of this in action is the Ain-i-Akbari. This massive work, commissioned by Emperor Akbar, wasn't just a history. It was an attempt to document the entire empire, its diverse peoples, its customs, and its many faiths. And in doing so, it perfectly reflected Akbar's own philosophy of tolerance and inclusion.
So we've talked about politics, we've talked about high culture, but what about everybody else? What did everyday people value? What were their spiritual lives like? Well, these texts also open a window into the very soul of the society.
And the range here is just incredible. You've got Sufi literature that gives us transcripts of these intimate conversations between spiritual masters and their followers. You have ethical texts like the Gulistan and Bostan that were basically guidebooks on how to live a good, moral life. And then other works even recorded the heated theological debates that happened in the emperor's court. It's all there.
So, after all these centuries, why should we care about these books? What is the big deal? Well, their legacy isn't trapped in the past. They actually built the foundation for so much of what came after, and you can still hear their echoes today.
Let's just break down the impact. First, they established Persian as the language of culture and government for centuries. Second, they created a whole new, sophisticated way of writing history. Third, they turned India into this major hub, connecting it culturally with Iran and Central Asia. And finally, and this might be the most important one, they helped forge the composite culture that is such a defining feature of India's heritage. This beautiful blend of traditions in art, music, food, it's all still so vibrant.
And really, that's the key takeaway. These aren't just some dusty old books on a shelf. They are the primary sources. They're the very lens that historians use to understand this entire vast period. Without these literary mirrors, huge chunks of India's past would just remain in the dark.
So I'll leave you with this thought. These incredible works give us this amazingly detailed reflection of their time. And it really makes you wonder, when future historians look back at the digital texts that we are creating right now, our emails, our social media posts, our endless stream of content, what kind of mirror will we have left for them? What on earth will it reflect about us?